Once upon a time, in a distant village nestled between vast mountains and flowing rivers, there lived a young man named Tenzo. Tenzo was full of dreams and ambitions, but there was one thing that constantly held him back: laziness. Every day he woke up with grand ideas of success, wealth, and a life filled with peace. But instead of taking action, he would procrastinate. His mornings were filled with distractions, and by the time the day ended, his goals were left unfulfilled. He had heard the stories of successful people in the village, those who worked hard every day, who made consistent efforts toward their dreams. They were respected, admired, and lived contented lives. Tenzo, on the other hand, felt stuck in a loop of inaction, watching time slip away. One day, Tenzo sought the guidance of an old monk who lived in a small monastery on the hillside. The monk was known throughout the village for his wisdom and calm demeanor. Tenzo made his way up the steep path, determined to find the answers he had been searching for. When Tenzo arrived at the monastery, he found the monk sitting quietly under a large tree, meditating. The air was still, and the only sounds were the rustling of leaves and the distant song of a bird. "Master," Tenzo called out softly. The monk opened his eyes, a serene smile crossing his face. "Ah, Tenzo, I've been expecting you. Come, sit." Tenzo sat down beside the monk, feeling the weight of his troubles. "I've come to you because I can't overcome my laziness," Tenzo confessed. "I have so many dreams, so many goals, but I never seem to get anywhere. I always put things off. How can I change this? How can I become like the successful people in the village?" The monk listened carefully, then said, "Tenzo, the problem you face is not laziness itself, but the lack of self-discipline. You see, self-discipline is like the river. It flows constantly, and by harnessing its power, you can shape your destiny. It's not about grand, sweeping changes, but about taking small steps every day. Do you understand?" Tenzo nodded, but the words felt abstract to him. "But master, I want to change quickly. I want to wake up tomorrow and be disciplined." The monk chuckled softly. "Ah, if only it were that easy. The mountain you wish to climb is made of small pebbles, Tenzo. If you are patient and begin with one pebble, one small step, you will find the whole mountain is within your reach." Tenzo was still confused, but he knew he had to try something. "What should I do first?" The monk smiled again. "For the next 7 days, I want you to wake up each morning before the sun rises. Stand up, stretch, and spend just 5 minutes in silence. No distractions, no thoughts of the day ahead. Just silence. This is the first small step to self-discipline." Tenzo felt skeptical, but agreed. After all, what did he have to lose? The next morning, Tenzo woke up early, as the monk had instructed. He sat up in his bed, feeling the weight of his blanket, but he pushed through the urge to stay in bed. He stepped outside, the cool morning air filling his lungs. For 5 minutes he stood still, closing his eyes and focusing only on his breath. The world around him seemed to pause, and in that stillness he began to feel a strange sense of peace. At first it was uncomfortable. His mind wandered to thoughts of work, his dreams, and his lack of progress. But he kept returning to his breath, focusing on the present moment. By the end of the 5 minutes, Tenzo felt something shift inside him. It was a small step, but it felt significant. Over the next few days, Tenzo continued his practice. Each morning he woke up early and stood outside, breathing deeply, feeling the world come alive around him. He began to look forward to these moments of stillness. One day, as he was completing his morning ritual, the monk approached him. "How are you feeling, Tenzo?" he asked. "I feel more focused," Tenzo replied. "It's strange, but I'm beginning to feel more at peace." The monk nodded. "Good. Now it's time for the next step. For the next week, I want you to focus on one small task each day, just one. Choose something simple, something you can complete in a short amount of time, and do it without distraction. Tenzo thought for a moment. He had many tasks he could choose from, but he decided to start with organizing his small study area. Tenzo's life slowly began to change. Each day he woke up, spent 5 minutes in silence, and then tackled one small task. It was as if a veil had lifted and he could see the world in a new way. No longer was he overwhelmed by the big picture. By focusing on small, manageable steps, he started making progress. As the days passed, Tenzo felt more in control of his life. He no longer waited for the perfect moment or the grand inspiration to begin his tasks. Instead, he embraced the small victories. Slowly but surely, his habits began to shift. By the end of the 7th week, Tenzo had accomplished more than he ever had in his entire life. His study area was clean and organized, he had completed his work without procrastination, and he felt a sense of satisfaction that had long eluded him. One evening, as Tenzo sat with the monk, he reflected on his journey. "Master," he said, "I never realized how powerful small habits could be. I feel more disciplined and I'm actually making progress in my life, but there's still so much I want to do. How do I keep going?" The monk looked at him with kind eyes. "Tenzo, you've learned the most important lesson, consistency. The small steps you take today will lead to greater results tomorrow. But remember, self-discipline is not a destination. It is a lifelong practice. The key is to stay focused, stay patient, and always take one small step forward." Tenzo smiled, feeling a sense of clarity. "I understand now. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about taking small, meaningful actions every day." As Tenzo returned to the village, he carried with him the wisdom of the monk. His life was no longer controlled by procrastination and laziness. He had learned to break down his goals into manageable steps and focus on consistency. In the days that followed, Tenzo's reputation grew. He became known for his calm demeanor, his steady progress, and his unwavering discipline. He had learned that self-discipline wasn't about perfection, but about showing up every day, doing the work, and trusting the process. Self-discipline is not about grand gestures, but about small, consistent actions. Start small, stay patient, and remember that every little step counts. By embracing small habits, you can unlock doors to success, health, wealth, and inner peace. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more motivational stories. Keep growing, stay disciplined, and take one small step today toward your dreams.